Community Action Network, we have the privilege of working to empower the voluntary sector, enable volunteering and connecting communities. Nearly 8,000 organisations operate across the county of Dorset, delivering services to some of the most vulnerable in the community. Supporting them are thousands of volunteers. 1 in 4 people in Dorset volunteer regularly, giving thousands of hours of life-changing support with an economic value of approximately £700 million. The Healthbus Trust, a Bournemouth-based charity, provides specialist accessible healthcare for people experiencing homelessness.
So the history of the Healthbus is fun. Dr. Maggie Kirk's a local GP. She's got a heart for homeless healthcare. And she was finding the clinic that she was running for the homeless, that they weren't making it to the clinic. She was getting a few people along, but a lot of the people that needed help weren't getting there. So rather than wait for the homeless to come to where she was, she wanted to essentially do home visits to the homeless. So she found that a lot of them were gathering in this location where we are right now, St. Stephen's Church Hall, and they were engaging with some of the services in this area. So she came here and she wanted a location in which to run her GP surgery. So the YMCA had a bus, so she used the back of the YMCA bus, and the demand grew and the provision was effective. People were getting seen. Maggie then asked for a team of people to come together, help her form a charity, help her get a purpose-built bus, and help produce what we now know as the Healthbus. So it's mobile, it can be moved to other areas. You don't have to set it up as one location forever.
Hi, I'm Ash, I'm a volunteer for the Healthbus. But 2 years ago I was sleeping rough. This is one of the first port of calls on my road to recovery really. They introduced me to various organisations. I've now been dry for just over a year, so it's my way of giving back really. Working with the Healthbus, I've got a hands-on approach to how these people are dealing with life. Offer them a cup of tea, bit of toast, just to try and find out what their needs are. I can relate to what these people are going through. With trustees and volunteers, there's 11 of us.
Here locally, there's a very powerful connection with the local authority, the NHS, and those that are delivering services to the vulnerable adults in this community. And I find it works very well because they talk to each other and tell each other what they're doing. And there's that inter-questioning challenge that goes on, the linking of resources together. And so we end up with quite a combined service. We can always do better, and we're always talking about how we can do better. But the fact we're all working together towards a common purpose, which is reduce the inequalities of healthcare, to improve the outcomes for people that we serve, and to enable people to live free and independent lives, coming out of some very difficult circumstances, and doing all that together and learning as we go. I think it's quite a powerful group. The data that's coming out of the Healthbus now is demonstrating that we are reducing accident emergency admissions in the local area from the population that we're engaging with, and therefore we are increasing the health and well-being in that population by reducing their frailty. So the savings on the NHS, we estimate something in the region of £1 million a year for the cost of less than a fifth of that. I think that's a particular success, and it's much higher than we would have otherwise achieved in this local community without a bus and without people like Maggie.
I got involved with the Healthbus because I was very saddened by walking around the community and seeing people sleeping in doorways. I've always felt a sadness about the inequality in our community for that, and people being hungry, not having somewhere to sleep. Potentially I wanted to get a bus and drive around with a shower in it, but actually I've ended up working with a charity that do so much more. What I get personally from supporting the Healthbus is the enjoyment of being with our patients, seeing the journey that they take, sometimes from being incredibly unwell to not just getting better, but finding somewhere to live.
CAN represents the volunteer community for the area, so having them champion the volunteer sector and represent that at multiple boards when we can't make all of those things is actually extremely helpful. And so long as they keep championing the voice of the volunteer sector, they'll keep getting our support.
The one thing I'd say to somebody who's thinking about volunteering is make sure it's something you really care about, something that makes your heart sing.
Together, we can make a positive difference.